I was always interested in words from the moment that I had learned how to read and write. I was 5 years old, and one day it just struck me that Shively didn't have a newspaper, so we ought to have a newspaper. So I dragged out an old 1912 Underwood typewriter and some sheets of carbon paper and typed out a newspaper, a one-page newspaper. Priced it at 1 penny and took it around the streets selling it to my neighbors.
I came in 1979, right out of graduate school in journalism. I don't think I had any impression of Kentucky at all. I found it, a very welcoming place, an easy place to get to know people. We were the upstarts, right? We were competing with the Courier-Journal. We were trying to beat the Courier-Journal. We were the underdogs. If we could just be quick enough to the mark, we could beat the pants off them. And then we could look at them in the elevator, like, we got you. There was mine explosions in Appalachian, and so I was sent to cover that. And I think basically, I learned that if you're talking to, a very impoverished, grieving family who's just lost their son in the middle of Appalachia, where they barely have any running water, and if you can talk to those people, and get them to trust you, then you can pretty much talk to anyone. And so I took that away. I don't think I would have gotten that at the San Francisco Chronicle, which was another place where I got a job offer. I wouldn't be talking to people who were confronting those sort of obstacles. So that was a plus for sure.
People don't realize, or maybe they do, what terrific newspapers this city had. These were among the best newspapers in the country. They were regularly put on a par with big papers like the New York Times, the Post, the LA Times. A lot of reporters who eventually wound up with the Washington Post and the New York Times and made names for themselves. I'll give you a few examples. Chuck Babcock, who broke a scandal called Koreagate at the Washington Post. Bill Peterson, who was a terrific writer, worked at the Washington Post. Bill Grider, who worked for Rolling Stone, I think also worked at the Washington Post. Michael Weinrip at the New York Times, who is right now breaking a really big city scandal involving Rikers Island Prison and the treatment of inmates. All these people. Joel Brinkley, who won a Pulitzer Prize in Louisville and later went on to the New York Times. Howard Feynman, who became a political pundit at Newsweek, and I think now is at HuffPost. All of these people got their start in Louisville. And all of them are pretty darn good journalists, and I suspect that most of them would tell you that the experience and the sort of inculcation of what it means to be a journalist that they got working here was really valuable for what they went on to do. South Africa probably comes closest, and you get into the areas around Johannesburg, which actually do have sort of rolling countryside and horses, a big horse culture there, and yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of Kentucky.
I would say for any anybody who's interested in journalism, learn economics, because a lot of what we write about and have written about is driven by economics. Take a foreign language. Don't be afraid if you can't master it right away. Write. Don't let anybody tell you can't write, because writing is a gift for some people, but it's a craft for other people, and it can be learned.
When I was in journalism school several eons ago, you really had, and if you wanted to get a good job, you had to have a master's degree in journalism from one of the best universities in the country, and it was sort of your union card, and that's what I would have told somebody, in 1980. Spend the money, go to school, get your degree, and then go out and get a job. These days, I think this industry is a great deal more fragmented than it used to be, and it's also a good deal more globalized than it used to be, so that, pretty much anybody who has talent can do well no matter where they are and attract the attention of quality people.